In this session, we will continue working on our project titled MicroTask Hub. In this part, we will focus on creating the gateway service using Fast API. This is an important step where we start building the backend APIs that will connect different services in our system. By end of this session, you will be able to understand the model view controller architectural pattern and how it is used in backend development. Design and implement RESTful API endpoints using Fast API. Explore and use Swagger UI for API documentation, validation, and endpoint testing. This session will help you move from theoretical understanding to practical implementation. Now let us understand how MicroTask Hub is designed using a microservices architecture. Instead of building one large monolithic application, we divide the system into smaller services such as gateway service, core service, and task service. Each service has its own responsibility. The gateway service acts as an entry point for all client requests. It routes requests to appropriate service and handles communication between them. This approach improves scalability, maintainability, flexibility in development. Now let us look at the directory structure of the gateway service. The project is organized into multiple layers. Controllers will handle the incoming API request and define endpoints. Models are used to define data structure and schema. And main application file is where the past API application is initiated. This structure follows the MVC pattern, ensures clean separation of responsibility and making the code easy to manage and scale. Next, we can start implementation. For implementation, I'm using my local disk D. I have a folder called MTH where my front-end repository is there. In that same location, I'm creating another folder for backend. Inside backend, I'm creating a new folder, gateway. Then open the folder gateway, open it in VS Code. For open the location gateway in VS Code, just click on the address bar, open command prompt, then execute the command code space dot. Now it opens in VS Code. Then we can add a terminal. Go to the file menu, click on three dots terminal, then choose new terminal. Make sure the terminal is running in command prompt mode. By default, it is in PowerShell. I'm going to convert into command prompt. After converting into command prompt, we must check the Python version. So Python double hyphen version. Make sure that you are having the latest version of Python installed in your system. It displays the Python version number. Then check for the pip version, pip double hyphen version. So it displays the latest version of pip. Then we can install the required libraries for this application. Before installing the required libraries, we must activate the virtual environment. For activating virtual environment, this is the command python space hyphen m venv followed by venv. So this command will create a virtual environment inside our project. It takes some time. Once we got a prompt, we can start work on it. So now we got a prompt, the virtual environment is activated. If not yet activated by default, we can use the command venv slash scripts slash activate. So if not yet activated by default, we can activate it manually. So after activation, there is a changes on the command prompt. It is prefixed with the folder name venv. Now we can start installing the required libraries for implementing a gateway project. So first library is Fast API. So let me install the first library by using the command pip install followed by the library name Fast API. Then enter. Now the library Fast API is installed. Next I'm going to install another one, pip install uvcon. Next one, pip install python hyphen dot env. As of now, we installed three libraries. One is Fast API. It is a modern, high-performance Python web framework used for building APIs quickly and efficiently. And second one is Pydantic. It is an inbuilt one. No need to install manually. It is available inside the Fast API. It is used for data validation. The next one is python-.env that used to manage the environment variables. And next one is UVCon. It is a lightweight server used to run the Fast API applications. So these three libraries are required for implementing a gateway service using Python and Fast API. Based on this directory structure, I'm going to create a folders and files. So return back to VS Code. If you move cursor near to the folder name, you will get an option to create a new file and new folder. So let me create a new folder. For before click on this icon, you must click on the empty space on the Explorer. Otherwise, there is a chance to create a folder inside VNV. That folder must not be inside VNV, that must be inside the gateway. So you click on the empty space on the Explorer, then click on the icon new folder, enter the folder name as controllers. Then repeat the same procedure. Click on the empty space, then click on new folder and create the folder name as models. So two folders are created. Then click on empty space and create two Python files. One is main.py and another one is run.py. Then go to the folder controller, create two Python files inside controllers folder. So right click on the folder controller and use the option new file. Enter the file name as init.py. Repeat the same procedure. Right click on the folder controller and use the option new file. Enter the file name as authentication controller. .py. Py is the extension for Python files. Then right click on model folder, create a new file, schemas.py. Check with the directory structure. Inside gateway, we created two Python files. One is main.py and run.py. We activated virtual environment. Next, we created two folders. One is controllers and another one is models. Inside model, we created one Python file named as schemas.py. Inside controller, we created two Python files. One is init.py and another one is authentication controller.py. So now we can start implementation. So open the file main.py in the editor, then import the library from Fast API, import the class Fast API. Then import the middleware to enable cross origin from Fast API.middleware.cars. Import the class cars middleware. This is the class is used to enable the cross origin. Next, create object app for the class Fast API. Then enable the cross origin. So by using the object app and call the predefined function add underscore middleware, this function will take 4 parameters. For better understanding, I will create it as a multi-line. The first parameter is the class which we imported, cars middleware. Second one is array of URLs which we are going to allow to access the endpoints. So hello underscore origins is a second parameter equal to, it's not a single value, it is a multiple value, that's why it is in the form of array. So let me give the permission for the front end. Front end we already have, that was created using React plus Vite. So this is the default URL for the front end, http:// localhost port number 5173 is the default port number for React application, which is created using Vite. Next, hello methods, hello underscore methods equal to array of value. So usually the endpoints are created using either post, get, put, or delete. If you want to give permission for all the methods, you just place asterisk here. So it will allow all the methods. Next, hello underscore headers. If you want to allow all type of headers, just place the value asterisk inside the array. So this is the statement we added to enable the cross origin, so that the front end which is running on this URL can able to communicate with the gateway service. Next, we need to register all the routers here. As of now, there is no routers are created. So if we added a routers, that will be registered here. Next, I'm going to create a default endpoint by using the object app dot get. Here I'm setting the default URL slash, then I'm defining a method. I just name the method as home without any parameter. Just I'm returning a string started. Then we need to run this application, so that open the file run.py, import uvcon, then check for the condition if double underscore name equal to main, then use the library uvcon dot run function. Run function takes 4 parameters. First parameter is the starting point. Starting point is main. Inside main we have an object called app, and the second one is the host name where the application is running. So it will run on the local host. So second parameter is localhost. Third one is port number. So the default port number of Python Fast API is 8000. We can set any valid port number. I given the default port number of Fast API, that is 8000. Then the fourth parameter is reload. Set reload value as true, so that if you make any changes in your code, your project will restart automatically. So no need to restart manually. Then we can start, go to the terminal, save all those things, go to the terminal, and execute by using the command python space the file name run.py, either python space run.py or py space run.py, both will work. First let me show by using the command python space run.py. Now the application is started. This is the URL. We can copy this URL, open a browser and paste it, enter. We will get a message started. That means we successfully created application using Fast API. Now I will stop. We can use Control C to stop. First I executed by using python space the file name run.py. Now I'm going to use py space run.py. Both will work. So you can use either python space file name or py space file name.py. So now also if you refresh, the application is running. That's why we can see the default endpoint which are having a message started. We'll start from models. So go to models, inside schema, import the library pydantic for validation. So from the library name pydantic, import the class base model. Then we can create user defined class. So as per the requirement, first we will implement the first functional requirement, that is sign up and sign in. So that I'm going to create a class for sign up. I just name the class as sign up schema. inherited from the parent class base model. During a sign up process from front end, user can provide their full name, phone number, email ID, and password. So let me add the data members for the class. Full name declared as string, then phone number declared as string, then email declared as string, then password declared as string. Similarly, I'm going to create another database schema, that is class for sign in operation. So I just name the class as sign in schema, inherit from the parent class base model. So during a sign in process from front end, we can pass only two values. There is a spelling mistake. Sign in schema. So during sign in process, we will pass only two values. One is username and another one is password. So let me create a data member, username as a string, and another one password as a string. So after creating a schema inside the models, then we can start creating a endpoints. For creating a endpoints, we can use the controller. Controller will act as an intermediator, which can able to connect with view as well as the model. So inside control, we already created a file authentication controller. Open the file authentication controller in the editor and import the library from past API. Import API router. API router is the class name. Then import the classes from the model package. From models dot schemas, import those two classes, sign up schema as well as sign in schema. Then create object router for API router and set prefix value as /auth service. This will become a API name. Next, create two endpoints. One is for sign up and another one for sign in. So by using the router object with the help of post method, I'm creating an endpoint for sign up. Then create it in asynchronous mode. With a parameter. This parameter will validates the data from the request body. So we can assign, you can use any name as an object name. So let me use u because the request will carry the user's data u that must match with the class which is defined inside the model schemas, sign up schema. So automatically the Pydantic library will validate the data which is available on the request by comparing the field which is available in sign up schema. If any mismatch, it will not allow the request to process. That is the advantage of Pydantic. Pydantic will validate the data. So inside the sign up schema is imported from the package models.schemas. Inside schema, the class is created by using Pydantic. Pydantic will automatically validate the request. Whatever data comes from the front end, that will be compared with the fields which is available on the class sign up schema. If all the fields are matched, it will allow the particular request to process. If any mismatch occurs, it will terminate the request. Let us understand after implementation. Then inside I just written a JSON data. JSON means it will be enclosed with open and close braces. It is in the form of key and value. So let me set a key as code 200 and message. From sign up. Similarly, I'm going to create another endpoint for sign in. Router dot post. I just name the endpoint as sign in, created as asynchronous. Here also user can send username and password that must match with the class sign in schema, which is available in models.schema.py. Then it can return the response as a JSON with code number 200 and message from sign in. So I just created two endpoints, one for sign up and one for sign in. Then go to browser, refresh. The past API having inbuilt Swagger UI. So no need to add any additional features. If you want to see the Swagger UI, you can add /docs along with your URL. It opens Swagger UI page. So in this page, you can see all the endpoints. As of now, it displays only one endpoint, that is default endpoint, which is available in main.py. But we created two endpoints inside authentication controller that is not yet listed on the Swagger. The reason is the endpoints are created but not yet registered with the main.py. For registration, we need to use init.py, which is available inside the controller. Here you can import it first from dot authentication controller. Import router object as authentication router. So use init.py for initialization. In init.py, I am initializing from authentication controller. There is an object called router. So that router is imported as authentication router. Then after, go to main.py, import it from controllers dot init import all. Import space star means it will import all those things. As of now, we have only one router, so that was imported. Then we have a space to register all the routers here. We can add app dot include underscore router, the name of the router. Just name the router as authentication router. So after registering inside a main, go to the browser, refresh. Now you can see two more endpoints, which is created inside authentication controller. So we can test the endpoints using a Swagger. So let me check home. If I click on home, I will get a button try it out. If I click on try it out, I can get a button execute. If I execute means I'm submitting request. If I'm submitting a request, I'm getting a response. So this is the response came from the default URL started. Like that, I can test sign up endpoint and sign in endpoint. So let me check first sign up, then click on try it out. Now you can see it will display what are the inputs you need to pass. This came from Pydantic. So what are the things we need to pass? Full name, phone, email, password. How it comes? While creating an endpoint, we mentioned the class name sign up schema. So what are the fields declared in sign up schema? Full name, phone, email, and password. That's why we can see full name, phone, email, and password. So that user can understand this, they can provide value for full name. Then click on execute. That means you are submitting the request to the endpoint. If everything is fine, you will get a response from your gateway. So what is the response it returns from sign up? That means all the data matched with the sign up schema. That's why it returns success code 200 along with the message from signup. Suppose if any of the data is not yet matched, I forget to give value for password field. If I try to execute, that means I try to submit a request. So Pydantic will validate my request. So the validation fails. That's why I'm not getting my response. It returns an error. So that is the use of Pydantic. Pydantic automatically validates the request based on the class mentioned in the parameter. If all the values are matched, then only the request will be processed. We will get a response. Like this, we can test second API, that means sign in. Click on sign in and try it out. You can see what are the values you need to pass, username and password. The reason is while creating a sign in endpoint, we mentioned the class name in the parameter as sign in schema. What is there in sign in schema? Go to schemas.py. Inside sign in schema, we have only two fields, username and password. That's why we can see username and password here. So that user can provide username and password. Then they can submit a request. Once request is submitted and validated, it will return the response. What it returns? Success code 200 and message from sign in. So this came because of the return statement. With this, we come to the end of the session. In this session, we have understood the microservice structure of MicroTask Hub, learned the role of gateway service, explored how to structure a fast API project using MVC principles. In the next session, we will move forward with implementing API endpoints and integrating with the front end.